Here we are in section 3-3 with the solutions to numbers 1 through 6. Number 1, it says solve for m. We're trying to get m by itself, and there's m right there. So first we go through, are there any fractions? No. Are there any decimals? No. Are there any parentheses? No. Are there any multiple m's? No. So we're down to the last two steps of our process. Add 5x to both sides. Add 5x, and we get 2m equals 13 plus 5x. Get m by itself by dividing by 2, divide by 2, and we get m equals 13 plus 5x over 2. And you can write that as 13 over 2 plus 5 over 2x if you wanted to, but either one of those would be just fine. Good. Number 2, solve for y. So y is going to be right here. We're going to try to get him by himself. First have to get rid of that 3x on both sides. So we now have negative 11y equals 5 minus 3x. Divide by a negative 11, divide by a negative 11, and we get y equals 5 minus 3x over negative 11, or we could write that in the separate ones, negative 5/11 plus 3/11 x. And if you wanted to write this with the x's first, you could even write it one more different way. That would be 3/11 x minus 5/11. Yeah, moving those around, that would be okay too. Good. All right, here we have, if grading is set up so attendance is 10%. There's attendance. Let's write that down. So let's write it out here. So the attendance is 10% of the grade. Okay. Then 10% is tutoring. So tut right there is also 10%. Homework is 30%. And then we have tests that are 50%. Notice this adds up to 100%. So if everybody does all of their attendance, all of their tutoring, all of their homework, and all of their tests, they would get 100% in the class. Now let's go through and see what this person actually really got in their scores. A student's grade if he has 80% on attendance. So in this one, he got 80% of that 10%. So he didn't get a full 10% on his grade. He got 80% of that 10%. You multiply those, 0.8 times 0.1, and you get 0.8 times 0.1 is 0.08. Yeah, they got out of that possible 10%, they got 80% of that, which is a total of 8%. Okay, tutoring. What did you do on tutoring? You got 50% on tutoring. So that means to his grade, he got 50% of that possible 10% addition. 0.5 times 0.1 is 0.05. Homework, he got, slacker boy, he got 50% on his homework. This is not boding well for him. 50% of 30%, 0.5 times 0.3 is a 0.15. Yeah, so where he could have gotten 30% on his grade from homework, he ended up with 15% because he only did half of it. And then 80% on his tests. So notice he has a B- on his tests, and he attended class quite a bit, but he didn't do tutoring or homework very much. Let's see what this does to his grade. 80% of that 50%, 0.8 times 0.5 is 0.40, so 0.40. Let's add these up and see what his grade is. We have 40, 55, 68. 0.68. So he ends up with a 68% in the class, which is a D+. Even though he got B's on his attendance and tests because he slacked off on homework and tutoring, he only ended up with 68%. This is a very common grading scale, and this is what happens to the grades. And so, yeah, notice if he would have done all of his homework, this would have been up at a total 30%. He could have gone up to oh goodness, like an 83% or something on that. Not bad. So homework made a huge difference for him. All righty, number 4. The original price and then the discount. Oh, it's changing, but notice we have the original and we're trying to find the final. So this is actually an arithmetic problem, no algebra needed. You're starting out at $392.50, and you are discounting, subtracting 20% of that $392.50. And let's punch this into our calculator and see what comes up. Pull out my calculator here and punch in 392.50. Subtract 0.2 times 392.50, and we get $314 right smack dab on the money. So you punch this in and you get an amount that you subtract off of the 392.50, and it comes out to 314. Remember the dollar sign as well. All right, number 5. Notice we don't have the original price, and that's what 45% has to times that one. It doesn't times the final, so we're going to use a variable. So the price discounted 45% of the price ends up being $73.90. And you'll notice this is from our formula. We could have done 1 minus 0.45. That's the shortcut we learned. Either one of those is fine, and either way, it gets you to 0.55p equals 73.90. Yeah, then divide by 0.55, divide by 0.55. Let me punch that in, 73.90 divided by 0.55, and we end up at $134.36. So P equals 134.36. And that it should make sense that the original price was more than the final price because there was a discount that took it down to $73.90. Good. Okay, now for the last one. It says 4 consecutive odd integers. If we pick those, we start with our first one. It's a little bit bright. Let's use a darker color on that. We have, yeah, this one will work. So we have x is the first one. The second one, notice it says consecutive odd integers. So if this is an odd number, we have to go up to the next one. Then we have to go up to the next one, and then up to the next one. Notice we're adding 2, 4, and 6. Those are even numbers, but if x is odd, then x plus 1 is even, and x plus 2 is odd, and x plus 3 is even, x plus 4 is odd. Anyway, so they bounce back and forth that way. So here are 4 consecutive odd integers, and it says these 4 add up to 328. So as we translate these word problems, they add up, these 4 numbers add up to 328. Excellent. Oh, we can solve this. 1, 2, 3, 4x plus 12 equals 328. Subtract 12 from both sides, and we get 4x equals 316, and then divide by 4. So we get x equals, what is that, 79? Okay, so that's one number, that's this guy. And so if we go back and stick them in, we have that this one is 79, then the next one is 81, then the next one is 83, then the next one is 85. So 79, 81, 83, 85. Those are the 4 numbers, consecutive odd numbers, that add up to 328. Great.